much for joining me this evening. Okay, we are live, and just, I think you're seeing my presentation view right now. I'll come on screen in just a minute, and just checking on a couple of little details here. Yes. Okay, so thank you for joining me tonight, or if you're joining me later in the recording, it's so good to have you here. I'm very excited to speak to you this evening about the reset to reconnect. And this is a practice that I learned, and it has helped me so much, and I just would want every woman in surgical menopause to know about this practice. So thank you for being here and joining me this evening. All right, so let's get started. And you know, this is a masterclass session on how to regulate your nervous system and reconnect with your body. And this is a practice that is very short. It's like 3 minutes long at the most, unless you want to do it more than one time, and that's perfectly fine too, but we'll get into all of that. And it's just a really powerful way to help yourself reconnect when you're in a moment when you might not be feeling that connected. So we talk about unexpected life events can leave the nervous system feeling overwhelmed, activated, and constantly on. And I think we can all resonate with times that life has thrown something at us and we felt a bit disconnected or activated, overwhelmed in the moment. And so what Reset does, it helps us interrupt that cycle and guide the body back toward regulation and safety. And that's a really cool thing to be able to do in the moment, because it's just an immediate bit of relief that helps us when we do this practice. I'm just going to share a little bit about me. For those of you who don't know, I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer when I was 27 years old, and I've been in surgical menopause for a little over 20 years. I went on to work in a fast-paced corporate world for my entire career that eventually led me to burnout, and I discovered nervous system healing and breath work, and I experienced just this like deep, profound healing for myself. And now I share those practices with others, especially women who are in surgical menopause, because that is a cause that is near and dear to my heart. Why the reset technique? Well, because we don't just get affected by our physical and emotional parts of our body, but there's also the nervous system that gets impacted too. And for those of you who have read books like The Body Keeps the Score, that's a great one that really talks about how our whole body can hold on to events that have happened, whether we really are like conscious of that or not. And so this type of breath work can help us access the nervous system in a very quick and easy way, and that's why I think it's so powerful. So when you notice that you have overwhelm or emotional overload or anxiety or even sudden hormonal changes taking over your thoughts, your actions, and your body, this reset will shift you out of your body, out of overwhelm, and back to regulation with a simple breathwork practice. And it can be used almost anywhere to get you back into that sense of balance or that sense of centeredness in the moment. It interrupts your nervous system overload, and it creates safety in the body fast, taking you out of survival mode. So that is why I'm just so inspired to share this practice with other people today, because I know if you're in surgical menopause, you know, these sudden events can happen to us, and it can feel very overwhelming in the moment. And you don't have to be in surgical menopause to benefit from this practice. I have a very good friend that called me up one day right after coming out of the doctor's office, and he was experiencing like a lot of overwhelm based on some of the information that he got in the appointment. And I immediately walked him through this practice, and his response to me when we finished was just, he said he could feel his blood pressure coming down, he could feel like a sense of calm come over him, and it was just a very powerful technique to be able to do in the moment, to help regain like that sense of calm. There have been a handful of studies. I always like to look at what the research says. There have been a handful of studies from Mayo Clinic and National Institute of Health that have looked at women and how mindfulness practices can help with menopausal symptoms. And so one of the things they found is that breath work, and one of those practices we're going to learn tonight, can absolutely help women who are experiencing symptoms like hot flashes. And it may not take them away completely, but it can definitely help alleviate the intensity of the hot flashes, of the quality of the sleep, of mood, night sweats, all these kinds of things. And I think anything that can help, even if it's a 10% help or 20% help, it's better than no help at all. And so I encourage you to just try this for yourself. We're going to have a moment to practice tonight. And if you aren't comfortable practicing it tonight and you just like to watch, that's totally okay too. What we will have the opportunity to practice later if you want to try it after the session or after the recording or whenever you may be watching this. So but I thought any data around it that tells us that there is something behind breath work and helping with symptoms, I think that's an important piece of information that you all should have. So the reset technique itself is, it stands for ready, energize, suspend, ease, and transition. And I'm going to walk through each one of these and kind of explain what they are, and then we'll actually, you'll have the opportunity, if you choose, to do the practice here in a few minutes. So ready means notice what's happening in your body and bring awareness to your breath. So have you ever noticed that when you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed that your breath gets a lot more shallow, and it can even feel like it's getting harder to breathe? So this is the time to just bring awareness and realize, like, hey, this might be a good time for me to try the reset. The second step is energize. Energize is taking 20 activating breaths. An activating breath means a double inhale through the nose and a passive exhale through the mouth. So I'll come on screen in just a minute and demonstrate what this looks like. But it's basically a double inhale, so you go, so it's 2 inhales and an exhale. You can do it slower. There's no wrong way to do this, so just do whatever feels good to you. You could do it slower, like, it doesn't have to be really strong. It can be more gentle, or you can do it in a stronger way. That's totally up to you. So we're going to do 20 of those breaths together, and I will count us out. The next, the S stands for suspend. So we're going to hold our breath gently for 10 seconds. If that feels uncomfortable to you, or at any time, you just feel free to go back to normal breathing. Like I said, there is no right or wrong way to do this, but these are just kind of the prompts or the method behind the methodology. The second E stands for ease. So we're going to take 5 slow breaths with an optional hum on the exhale. So that would sound something like this. And again, again, do what you feel comfortable with. The hum is just there if you want it, and it helps stimulate the vagus nerve, which is what we're really going for to get that relaxation feeling. So again, you know, do what is at your comfort level, but that is an option that is there. So we'll do 5 of those breaths, and then T is for transition. Notice how you feel before moving on. So if you do 1 round and you feel like a lot better and you're ready to move on, then that's the time to just kind of check in and see how you're feeling. If you want, you can do another round of this if that would feel good to you. So it's totally open to having your own experience. A couple of just quick notes: if you ever feel lightheaded or you need to take a break, just stop the breath work and return to normal breath. Definitely, if you have any kind of heart condition or any medical reason why you shouldn't practice deep breathing, you can try the 6-6 breath, which I'm going to explain, or you can just breathe normally. Always check with your doctor if you have any questions if this practice is safe for you. The 6-6 breath is, if you'd like to try that, it's a 6-second inhale and a 6-second exhale, or you can do a 4-second inhale, 4-second exhale, whatever feels comfortable for you. So it would just be like inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And just that kind of rhythmic breathing in and out while the activating breath portion of it is going on. And last but not least, just as an abundance of caution, be sure to practice this technique seated or lying down. You don't want to be standing up to do this practice. All right, so I know I went through that kind of quickly, so what I'll do now is I will see if I can cancel the screen share. And okay, we were just getting ready to start the breathwork portion, and so just as a reminder, we talked about this is going to be a 20 of the activating breaths, and again, that's the double inhale with the passive exhale, so it looks like this. That would be 2. And so I'll demonstrate that and I'll count for you so you don't have to feel like you have to keep up with the counting or anything like that. And again, if you feel like that's too much or at any point you need to take a break, and there's no wrong way to do this. And if you also, if you don't feel comfortable with that, you can also do the 6 or 4 breaths in and out. So just going like inhale, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, inhale, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4. So feel free to do that if it feels more comfortable to you. But we'll do that, and then we're going to hold for 10 seconds, and then we'll do 5 of the calming breaths or the long, slow exhales, and include the hum if you feel comfortable, again, doing that. So I will kick us off, and we'll do it together, or feel free to just watch, and you can do it, this at another time if that feels better for you. So, like I said, no wrong way to do this. All right, so let's begin with the double inhale and the passive exhale through the mouth. Double inhale through the nose. That's 20. Now take a big deep inhale and hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now let that go and take in another inhale. and release with a hum. And again. And if you can kind of feel that vibrating in like maybe your throat area or the back of your head, that's excellent. That was 3 again. One last time. Okay, and now check back in with yourself and see how you feel. And notice any changes in your body. If you would like to, feel free to comment in the chat and let me know how that experience felt for you. If you feel any more sense of a calmness or maybe just a little bit more relaxed, or just anything at all that may have come up for you, I'd love to know. And so that, again, it's a practice that you can do almost anywhere. You know, maybe like I was sharing the story about my friend, he did it in his car. As soon as he got out to his car in the parking lot, he did it there. You could do it, you know, obviously in your home, but you could do it like in a bathroom if you needed to, or just step outside. Really, anywhere you feel comfortable, but that is, yeah, that is the reset practice, and that's how quick it can be. And again, if you want to do it a second time, you're welcome to do that also. But this is just intended to be that quick in the moment reset that can kind of bring you back into feeling more centered. There were a couple of other things I wanted to share with you tonight, and so if that felt like something that you enjoyed or you think you might be curious about finding out more, I invite you to reach out to me, send me a note if you have any questions, and I would let you know that I am starting a 8-week guided journey for women that are navigating life after surgical menopause, and it's called Reconnect. And each week there's a new meditation. It's based on this type of breath work, and there's a paired together with a writing practice that happens like in the meditation, and that's all put together with some binaural beats and some specific hertz music to help just regulate and calm the nervous system. We'll also have a Telegram group so we can all stay connected to the group and ask any questions that may arise, or if you'd like to share your experiences in there or just connect with other people that are doing the program, that is all available. And I would estimate this may be a little bit on the high side, 2 hours a week, but probably 1 to 2 hours a week to do this 8-week program. So it's not a huge amount of time, but you will need like a dedicated about an hour a week at a minimum to do the breathwork practice and the writing portion of it. And then we will have a live event to close it out at the end of our 8-week journey. So this is something that's just been on my heart for a long time to bring, and I'm really excited to be able to offer this program for the very first time. So as a founding member, I do have a bonus. So if you join within the next week, we're going to start July the 20th, I think it is. Let me double check. Yes, the Monday, July the 20th. So if you join within the next week, there's a bonus that you get, which is my meditation pack. And the meditation pack has 5 short meditations in it. They range from this practice, which is like a 3-minute practice, but it's a guided practice, so I talk you through doing all the steps so you don't have to think about it and count anything in your head. And then there are 4 other ones. The longest one is, I think, around 8 to 10 minutes long, so none of them are super long. And each one uses a different technique for mindfulness and body regulation. So there's one that is a yoga nidra style practice. There's one that uses emotional freedom technique tapping, if you're familiar with that. There's one that has a guided rhythmic breathing. So it's more like that 6-6 breath that we practiced earlier tonight. And then the last one is a guided visualization for building inner peace. So yeah, I will be super excited to have you join me. And again, please reach out with any questions. I'd love to talk to you. And if you found this practice helpful tonight, please also send me a note or drop a comment and let me know. I'm so excited to hear about your experience and how this might impact you and impact your life. All right, with that, I'll end the live stream tonight, and thank you for joining me. Have a good evening. Bye.